This is the Learning Designer, a tool developed by a team led by Diana Laurillard at the UCL Knowledge Lab. It is free for anyone to use. The tool aims to help you with a methodology known as learning design. Learning design allows you to make informed decisions about the pedagogy, resources, and activities you will use to achieve learning outcomes. Learning design removes the focus from what you will do as the instructor, or in our case, the facilitator of learning, and places it onto what the students will do. At the level of a class or learning session, this means you can plan a sequence of learning activities for students to undertake to achieve the class's learning outcomes. The tool has been created using a theory of learning called the conversational framework. The conversational framework argues that learning is supported by dialogue between students and their facilitators of learning, and that 6 different types of learning can be facilitated by this dialogue. Let's now look at a completed learning design. By clicking the designer screen, you can plan a new design, but here's one I completed earlier. I'll click Turn Editing On to see all the features. You can see that I've filled in a number of details about this piece of learning in these fields, including a name, topic, class size, and a description. I've also been able to estimate a learning time, which aligns with the time needed for the activities that I've designed. On the right, you can see that I've been able to select a mode of delivery. This design is blended, meaning students will learn online and in a face-to-face class or learning session. I've also been able to write my aims and learning outcomes for this piece of learning. Scrolling down, you can see the teaching and learning activities, or TLAs, for this piece of learning. These indicate what students will be doing to achieve the learning outcomes detailed above. You will notice that each activity is described using a type of learning. These correspond to the 6 types of learning from the conversational framework, which are read, watch, listen, investigate, discuss, collaborate, and practice and produce. The amount of each type of learning present in this learning design is represented in the pie chart up here. The pie chart is updated automatically based on what type of learning you add into your design and how much time you indicate for each activity. If you don't add a time to the activity, the chart won't be updated, which means you will not see an accurate representation of your design. So you always need to specify the time for each type of learning. The pie chart visualizes the learning experience you have designed for. Ideally, you would have a mix of the types of learning, but the percentage will vary depending on your learning outcomes. We can understand more about our design by clicking on the Analysis tab here. Based on what I've inputted into the design, the tool has calculated the percentage of time spent learning in class, face-to-face and online, contact time with the facilitator of learning and outside the class, and whether activities are synchronous or asynchronous. This bar represents the learning experience in terms of the social aspect of learning. How much of the learning is happening as a whole class, how much in groups, and how much individually. Going back to our TLAs, let's look at some more of the icons across the top of each activity. This icon shows the time needed to complete the activity in minutes. This needs to be realistic for the task students need to perform. This number indicates the number of learners involved in the activity. You can see for some activities this is 1, meaning this is an individual activity. For others, this is 26, meaning the total number of students in the class. For others, this is 5, meaning the activity is meant to be conducted in small groups. This icon shaped like a person shows whether the facilitator of learning is present for the activity, as they are for this one, or not, as in this one. This icon shows if the activity is online. All of the activities in this TLA are to be conducted by students working online at home. And in this TLA, students are working in class, so the activities are not online. This icon shows that the activity will be conducted asynchronously or synchronously. Finally, this icon shows what resources have been linked to the activity. Looking at these buttons, we can see the Save button. You should click this regularly when preparing your design. There is also an option to share your design. Use this to show your design to colleagues or even to your students.